My name is Joseph Kluesener, and this is the Share Your Music presentation. Today I'll be talking to you about the Icelandic artist commonly known as Björk. She was born in Reykjavik, Iceland in 1965, and her name is actually pronounced Björk, like jerk. Björk's music is so incredibly interesting to me. Björk, first of all, is not limited to one style of influence or production. Björk is not afraid to use a wide variety of instruments and settings for her productions, and she, to me, embodies the pop music composer for those that appreciate art music and classical music, etc. So that is probably a great deal why I like her so much, since the majority of my performance experience is in the classical stage and venue. I have a little bit of information about Björk, and then we're going to dive right into the music. So thanks for sticking with me. I hope you're excited. What you should know about Björk is that she is often placed in the electronica genre. So when you go search for her in record stores and online, search electronica. Her name is spelled B-J-O-R-K. This poster is a poster from her record in 2001 called Vespertine, and is actually subway size. It takes up most of the whole wall right here. So that's why I set this up. This record right here is the CD release, and this, right here, and this is the live release. Björk released about 7 to 9 albums in the past 15 years, and they're all a huge variety. So why don't we dig in right now? These songs are from the first album that she recorded as a soloist, and that album is called Debut. Hopefully you noticed the variety of percussion instruments, the very groovy, almost Latin beat, so it has a very dance-like character. Here's the next selection from Debut, 1993. This song is called Big Time Sensuality. Hopefully you noticed immediately that this is very true to the electronica style. It has a lot of dance and club beat influence.
I live by the ocean.
This song is called the Anchor Song, and Björk uses a saxophone quartet. That is 4 different saxophone instruments playing together in an ensemble in quartet formation while she sings. So that was from her first album. Before she worked on her first album, Björk became famous with an Icelandic group called the Sugar Cubes. You can look for a song called Birthday. I have a feeling some of you might recognize it. It's fairly popular. Björk married her first husband from the band the Sugar Cubes, and also had her first child in the late 80s. And so that was before 1993 when she came out with Debut. The next record I'd like to play for you is from 1995, and it's called Post. This first song is called Army of Me. Immediately you'll notice the very intense, full, thick, groovy bass line, and you can also notice a very heavy backbeat on the percussion. This is, to me, is kind of a grungier sound. This is very interesting thus far. We haven't heard anything like this. Let's keep looking. So hopefully you noticed this was a very symphonic opening. Strings, trumpet solo, and then all of a sudden out of that sound comes the very intense percussion beat, which is typical of Björk to blend such unique styles. So we have a symphonic sound mixed directly with a more beat-oriented groove coming into this electronic mix. Isn't she fantastic? Here we go. Here's another example. This is a live tune, and it's called I Miss You. It's been animated in one of her music videos by the guy that created Ren and Stimpy, John Kluesener. So if you know Ren and Stimpy, you'll appreciate the animation on this song called I Miss You. So this is more club-oriented, beat-oriented, and there's definitely a lot of sampled electronic sounds added to the production. Björk herself has produced several other albums, and she also starred in a film called Dancer in the Dark in 2000. This film was so intense for her as an artist, and if you see the film you'll understand what I mean, that she refused to do any more films. She won the Best Actress prize at the Cannes Film Festival, but refused to go back to making movies because she had so many more records to make. As a musician, that's very exciting to know about another artist who's so committed. Now, a new record came out in 2004 that's very, very unique. It's called Medulla, and on it she collaborates with a purely vocal cast. The entire record is voice sounds recorded and sampled and then rearranged and distorted. She worked with beatboxer Rahzel and the famed Mike Patton of Faith No More and Mr. Bungle, as well as Icelandic choirs. So here's an example of some of the tunes from Medulla, which came out in 2004. Hopefully immediately you notice the choral sound. It is all vocal. There are some percussive effects that are done with the breath, but that again is a vocal production here that sounds like percussion. Here's another track. This track is called Where Is the Line? And it has a great beat.
Where is the line with you? Where is the line with you? Where is the line with you? Where is the line with you?
So you can see a huge mix of color and style there. It started off solo voice, then it went into a big funky hip-hop type beat, which was produced all vocally by a beatboxer, and then just before I cut us off, there was a choir that entered into the mix. I'm going to pick it up where I left off.
You ask again, I see the crime and cash,
So hopefully there you were able to see the mix of the voice, the backbeat, and the choir. So that was just a selection of a couple of albums by Björk, or